Okay, this is the last video on the discounted free cash flow model, so the DCF, discounted cash flow, the the DFCF, whatever you want to call it. So how are we going to approach such questions in this course? So the year 2000x0 has just ended, and the company sales in the year that has just terminated amounted to $530 million. Sales in the coming year are expected to be 11% larger than in the previous year, and then the growth rate in sales will slowly fall by 1.3% over the next 5 years. So 11% for the first year, 9.7% in the second year, 8.4% in the third year, 7.1% in the fourth year, and 5.8% in the fifth year. Earnings before interest and taxes during those years are expected to be 10% of sales. And from 2000x1 to 2000x5, the additions to net working capital are expected to amount to 8% of the increase in sales from the previous year. And additions to net fixed assets or net investment or capital expenditures minus depreciation is expected to be 11% of the change in sales from the previous year. Corporate tax rate is 35%. The company's weighted average cost of capital is 9.7%. The company has $87 million in debt, $54 million in cash, and 25 million shares outstanding. After year 2000x5, the growth rate of free cash flow into perpetuity is expected to be 2.5%. Okay, so first, knowing S0, we need to forecast sales during the first 5 years. So sales at time 0 is 530. Sales at time 1 is 1 plus 11% of 530, which gives 588.3. Sales at time 2 is 1 plus 9.7% times sales at time 1. This gives us 645.37. And if we keep going until time 5, so sales at time 3 is 699.58, which is 8.4% larger than 645.37, and so on. So sales at time 5 is 792.7. So in each of these cases, we have the level of sales expected and the growth rate from the previous year's sales. EBIT is 10% of sales in each year. So at time 1, 10% of 588.3 is 58.83. At time 2, 10% of 645.37 is 64.54. At time 3, 10% of 699.58 is 69.96, and so on. Additions to net working capital is 8% of the increase in sales. So 4.66 is 8% times 588.3 minus 530. 4.57 is 8% times 645.37 minus 588.30, and so on up to time 5. Additions to net fixed assets is 11% of the change in sales. So 6.41 is equal to 11% times 588.3 minus 530. 6.28 is equal to 11% times 645.37 minus 588.30, and so on. So 4.78 is equal to 792.7 is equal to 11% times 792.7 minus 749.25. To compute FCF each year, we need to compute 1 minus the tax rate times EBIT, and the tax rate is 35%. So this gives us, for each of the EBITs we have previously calculated, 38.24, 41.95, 45.47. So 45.47 is 1 minus 35% times 69.96. 1 minus 35% is 65%. So 45.47 is equal to 65% times 69.96. And now we can compute free cash flow in each of the next 5 years. So 38.24 minus 4.66 minus 6.41 is 27.16 for year 1. In year 2, we have 41.95 minus 4.57 minus 6.28, that's 31.11, and so on. Almost done. Now we need to compute terminal value. From 43.26, with a perpetual growth rate of 2.5% and a weighted average cost of capital of 9.7%, terminal value at time 5. So the value we expect to obtain if we were selling the firm, we would expect to obtain if selling the firm at time 5 is 1 plus 2.5% times the free cash flow at time 5 of 43.27 divided by the discount rate 9.7% minus 2.5%, which gives 615.98 as a terminal value standing at time 5. Enterprise value. The discounted value of all these 5 numbers here. So 27.16 discounted over 1 year, 31.11 discounted over 2 years, 35.17 discounted over 3 years, 39.26 discounted over 4 years, and the free cash flow at time 5 plus terminal value at time 5 discounted over 5 years. So as you can see in this equation here, the terminal value is the component with the greatest impact on enterprise value. The further we move it in time, so the longer that the time span we use in the discounted cash flow model, the smaller the impact of terminal value on the enterprise valuation. So this gives us enterprise value of 519.30. So we said we had $87 million in debt, $54 million in cash. So we subtract debt, we add cash, and we divide by the number of shares, making sure that we use millions with millions. So here all the numbers we calculated here were in millions, so we use millions directly. So this gives us a correct price of 19.45.